Hey, how you doing? So I bought a Channel Islands Happy Every Day in October of 2024, and I've managed to surf it in a number of conditions and at various wave sizes across that period of time. So I thought it was time to do a review on this board now. It's a stock dimensions Happy Every Day. It's 6'1" by 20 and a half by 2 and 5/8 for 35.1 litres. Um, as you can see, it's a sort of generally a high performance shortboard shape. It's got that pulled in nose, but it's still carrying a little bit of width up the front here. It's got that Channel Islands hip here before it comes down to this squash tail, which is still a fairly blocky squash tail. It's quite wide. You know, it's got medium rails. They do taper down at the edge. And its contours, kind of classic shortboard contours with a single to double, and then sort of flattening out through that squash at the end. It's a PU board. I like riding PU boards over epoxy nearly all of the time. It's just my preference. They suit me, they suit my style of surfing, and I like the feel of them. I chose this board after thinking about what sort of daily driver board I might like to try. I looked at a range of boards, and really I was looking for a board that suited sort of 2 to 6 foot surf. And I settled on the Happy Every Day. I also considered the JS Industries Zero Gravity, but in the end I chose this one. I have found that this is a really good board, but I wouldn't say that it suits me in that range from 2 to 6 feet. Now, I've ridden it in 1 to 2 foot clean offshore fun waves, and I was surprised actually at how fast it was, how maneuverable it was. It went really, really well in small, clean surf. I've also ridden it multiple times in various types of waves, up to 4 to 5 feet, sort of soft, slightly mushy, not particularly powerful waves, to waves that really stand up and hollow out. What I have found is anything over 4 foot, when it's starting to get to 5 foot, heading towards 6 foot, this board is not the board for me. I would want to change it out and go for one of my other high performance shortboards. But for waves in that sort of 2 to 4 to 5 foot range, particularly not very good waves, this board would work exceptionally well. It's got a kind of a staged rocker, so it's sort of fairly flat through the center here. And with that wide squash tail, you know, through those flat sections, you get speed, you get lift, all of those things that you want happening when the wave quality is not so great. And for New Zealand, which is where I live and surf, and particularly most of the waves that I surf most of the time, this is a really good board. It suits these kind of conditions where the waves aren't fantastic, where you're surfing average to reasonably good waves a lot. If you want a board that's easy to ride, and it would suit, you know, intermediate surfers, definitely obvious advanced surfers can surf this board too. And if you're an older guy and you're looking for a little bit more volume, but you still want a shortboard, it's 6'1" by just over 35 litres. You know, that's giving you the volume to allowing you to paddle and get into those waves reasonably easily, and yet still having a board short enough to, you know, allow you to surf it in a high performance way, particularly if you're wanting to surf more vertically. And that's the area where I have had the most difficulty with this sport. Like I said, it suits really good average waves or average to good waves. But when you've got really hollow waves, when you've got super clean waves, and where you really want to drive off the bottom and go vertical, I found that that wide squash tail kind of hinders you slightly if you want to surf in that way. And that is why I think they have come out with the Better Every Day, which is obviously that's a swallowtail. It's got a narrower tail at the end, and it's really more suited to better waves. I mean, to be honest, I haven't ridden this in 6 foot waves, and I wouldn't. I'd change out to one of my other boards. Now, I've been surfing it primarily with the Elmerick thruster fins. They're a large rake template. You can get the these are the M2s. You can get the M1 if you want a medium-sized wave, but at 83 kilos, these work well for me, and I find that they work really well in the board. Now, the one thing I haven't really tried that much, the first fins I used when I moved to this board was the JJF Signature TechFlex fins, very stiff fin. I love these fins. They're a neutral template, not a rake. You can pivot on them more easily, and I really like these fins. I use them a lot on many of my other boards, but I just found that these worked a little bit better. But maybe in bigger surf, if you wanted to take this board out in bigger surf, you might like to try a neutral template. Maybe you might like to try a pivot template. But I just found, particularly on bigger waves when I was driving off the bottom, I wasn't getting the pivot that I wanted out of these fins. So you might like to swap them up and try them out. But generally, for most conditions, I think these fins are really good. So did I get the daily driver I wanted? No, I didn't, because I don't think it suits, for me, everything from 2 to 6 feet. Did I get a good board that surfs well, that's maneuverable, that's easy to paddle, and that I can have fun on? Yes, I did. And I think a lot of you, particularly if you live in New Zealand or you live in a place where the waves aren't really good a lot, but you're having to surf in, average waves and somewhat good waves, I think you will find this board really enjoyable too. So those are my thoughts on the Channel Islands Happy Every Day. I'm probably going to look at getting a different sort of daily driver, but whether I keep this or not, I'm not sure, but I'm certainly happy with it in those waves from 2 to 4, maybe up to 5 foot, that aren't great, where you can have fun. The board's fast, it's maneuverable, and it's easy to surf. So what more can I say? Talk to you again soon.